here again. I'm delighted to have with me Dee Quealy of Quealy Co. How are you, sir? You okay?
Yeah, all good here. Thanks very much, Simon.
Dapper as usual. Always make me feel very jealous hearing my prop tech garb. But anyway, Dee, we're here to have a chat today about Crux. Crux, the recruiters, well known in the industry. Obviously, I think you've worked with them for a number of years. Just to so people understand your business, you run a fantastically successful office down in Sittingbourne, don't you? You're a RAN member, won multiple awards, which of course I've noticed from across the room at all these lovely events to see you going up on stage and picking it there. Obviously getting the right people is absolutely, I don't think there is anything more important, much as that's coming from a, pseudo techie like myself, a prop tech person here. What attracted you to Crux in the first place, given that there's obviously, let's be honest, recruiters are a ten a penny out there? Do you remember what it was that did attract you to Crux in the first place?
Well, so I had probably for many, many years an aversion to using recruiters. I hadn't, prior to 2020, had any real success there. And in fact, most of the people that I've ever recruited into my business have been people we know, okay. Either directly or friends of friends. But that connection has always been, I think, really valuable. Anyway, in 2020, we started doing a bit of work with Ian White.
Yep. And
Ian White introduced Crux to us, and our first hire came as a connection through Ian and Crux, and it was a fantastic hire in 2020. And I think the thing that's been sort of really useful for us is that through Ian and Crux and what he's able to impart on the Crux business is the knowledge around our industry and what it is that makes us tick, and therefore what it is that we really are looking for in recruits. You can spend a lot of time talking to the wrong people.
Yeah.
We found that we have recruited a number of people since 2020 using Crux, and I think they've all been successful.
Well, that's great here. I mean, it's always, look, it's always a bit of a gamble, isn't it? So if that's the case, that's a really high strike rate, as they say, isn't it? And I suppose what you're saying there, then, if I'm to understand it, is because Ian and his team get property, that kind of validation, that first stage is going to get rid of more of the ones that wouldn't be right for your business, especially as they understand your business so well. Understanding that they've got the right culture for Quealy Co is a really nice extra kind of feature that you wouldn't get with a generic recruiter, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's, what we'd be looking for is we don't want to be a sort of throwing mud at the wall type customer. We want to spend time talking to the right potential recruits, as opposed to just having anybody and everybody thrown at us.
That's why you rejected my CV 7 times. So I'm not bitter, Dee. But anyway, that's what do they say? Groucho Marx, never let yourself into a club that accept you as being a member, would they? So and obviously, I suppose on that recruitment side, it's only getting harder, isn't it? Right, in terms of finding the right people, scaling the business when you need to. Obviously, that seems to be more of a difficult job than ever these days.
Well, it is, because we pride ourselves on our staff retention. We work hard at that. We've got a fantastic staff retention record, but it means that anybody joining the business has got to fit in with the team. We've got to maintain team cohesion, and so the right people coming in is critical to us. And
how did they understand? Obviously, Ian knows your business well. How did the team there get to kind of understand what your requirements was? Was there kind of an onboarding? Was it a simple interview to understand what the approach is? How do they really get to understand the caliber and the type of person that you're looking for?
I think it's probably a sort of an ongoing arrangement, as opposed to a sort of an initial onboarding, and then it's set in stone at that point. I think, as they present candidates and we talk through whether we want to take them forward or not, they start to get to feel what it is that we like about people.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you think they have any other key strengths apart from obviously that kind of domain knowledge there? You know, I suppose what do they do differently to other recruiters other than that kind of knowledge?
I suppose recruiters are by nature probably going to be, for the most part, tenacious.
Yeah.
I understand that, and I think there's a sort of a balance between that tenacity and people being too persistent or too pushy. So it's getting a balance there of trying to communicate with us in the right way, follow up interviews in a timely fashion, but not be perhaps on our case at the wrong times.
Doing the basics really well, it sounds like, is the key element there. And I'm guessing they don't fall for some of those horrible old recruiter tricks, you know, when somebody gets to the end of their restriction clause, they're not straight on the phone trying to recruit them away to other businesses, which I have heard happens with other recruiters. They don't fall into that trap, I guess.
I'm not aware that that's happened. I mean, so as I said, I mean, our staff retention, we don't lose people to other agents. We very rarely lose people at all. But
seeing all those awards, Dee, I can understand why.
But we certainly don't lose people to other agents. But I'm hopeful, therefore, and fairly confident that 3-month issue doesn't arise.
No, I've certainly heard it from other people that say, you know, whereas that has been a factor with other recruiters, they can be a little bit naughty on that side of things. That isn't, you know, ultimately they're in this industry, right? And so they want to stay part of it. And you just burn your bridges if you go down that route, don't you? So it just doesn't work. Okay, so your final thoughts then, just in terms of your final thoughts on Crux, how would you rate your experience with them overall, just to summarize it?
On a score,
give it out of 5 would be tremendously helpful, so we can put them on the website.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to go with 5. I said it has been extremely helpful to have Ian in the background, and Ian may be sort of part of that guidance with the guys at Crux to sort of say, look, you know, this is Dee's approach to business. This is the way he runs things. These are the type of people that he already employs. These are his values, and I think that's been really helpful, and it's meant that the guys at Crux, when they come to us, they haven't been sort of using that mud at the wall approach.
Excellent. And I suppose the often quoted, as long as it's not for your competition, you'd recommend them to other agents then looking for a recruitment agent.
Yes, I would. Yes.
Perfect. Dee, thank you so much for your time today. It's much appreciated. We always say thanks to obviously those companies that deserve to be shouted about, you know, deserve their success. So having people like yourself, obviously so well respected, being willing to share their time, I think says a lot about it. Dee, thanks once more.
All right. Okay. So
Cheers, thanks a lot. Bye.